Nick just got off a meeting with me and he needs a few minutes before we'll be able to join. Oh, here he is.
Just
Hey,
move
Devil.
it.
How you doing, man?
I am making it through. Getting packed today to head out tomorrow. It is 60 degrees in my house. It is cold. Whew. That probably has no context to half of you.
15 degrees. 15 and a half degrees Celsius.
Yep.
Well, that is a bit cold.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cold here. Yeah, we've been forecast like -7.
Are you serious?
What?
Crazy. Yeah, I know.
To think I was thinking about visiting you someday.
I'm a bit scared, really.
It's 20 degrees here.
Oh, man.
Summer.
Okay. Looks like we've got a reasonable turnout. Great to see so many faces. Do we have Oh, we do have an agenda. Brilliant. Thank you, Puts, for putting that together. Are we ready to kick things off?
I'm
I think so.
thinking so.
All right. Anyone have any announcements we should know before starting the meeting?
Have you scheduled in the announcements that I mentioned to you?
Yeah. And
Okay.
not that kind of announcement. Like if anyone needs to leave early or there's other issues or things that may hinder the meeting, that's what the announcements are for.
Right. I have a hard stop on the hour, but that should be fine.
Exactly. That's okay. Yeah, good to know. Me too. So, any points that are missing on the agenda? Actually, wait.
Has the agenda been shared?
Good question. That's what I was thinking too.
Ask about.
Right. Cool. No additions or changes?
I can't access the page.
I've scheduled our item in. Don't worry about that. I'm trying to make sure that we can actually see what was planned and what was not. Distinguish between the notes and the agenda. That works. Okay. Anyone who can volunteer to take notes during the meeting?
I can volunteer, I guess.
Do you have access to the Notion?
I can also record it and then transcribe it. Okay.
All right, let's kick it.
I'm waiting for someone to take notes.
Do you have access then, Zed?
I can just start with OneNote and then just transfer later
sure.
if you want.
Cool.
First up is short updates. And their operations, we Torin.
Yeah, we have something very exciting to share with you all. So we have 2 new team members from people you know and love joining us and taking on some more responsibility. So Scott, who's here, is going to be our community ambassador, and so he's going to be helping lead the charge with community initiatives, and just enabling this community to thrive in a way that it's never really had a chance to. So if you have any ideas for community initiatives, I'm sure Scott would love to hear them, and he's here to support you and help make this place a very exciting place to be. And and secondly, Bentley, who you also all know and love, is officially our community admin, and so he's as he has been this whole time. Really, he's officially now the admin of our Discord server, and he's managing all of the technical side of things. That takes a lot of work running a server at this size with this many thousands of channels in it. And so he's there to support all of you and that technical side of things. So everyone give a big welcome to Scott and Bentley.
Ooh, welcome y'all. That's awesome.
Thank you for such a warm welcome.
But doesn't that mean that he has to turn his camera on though?
I don't think we'll ever see that.
Bentley's an AI.
All right, cool. So to move on, there's 2 more points under operations. They're pretty short. First, our source of truth for development on the agent is now up to date, the dev Kanban. And secondly, I've been working with Zed to rework the roadmap. Zed has done most of the work so far, but we kind of exchanged ideas about that yesterday. Because we need like a current view of what's going on and what can be done right now. People who just want to start contributing, and we also need a more long-term vision that kind of indicates, okay, so if you have your own initiatives, along which lines should they kind of align, for anything that's not on the board yet.
Great.
More about, a little bit more about that later, specifically about the agent of the Forge. But first we have research updates, if there are any.
Craig, do you talk about one? Or I guess Torn, you might handle it.
No. I mean, since the last, I wasn't here in the last meeting. Were the papers out for that? I can't remember.
One of them was. I don't know if the other one's out yet.
Gaia.
Yeah, they're both out.
It's out?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, Craig, do you wanna tell people about Gaia?
Yeah, sure. So this has been a collaboration between us, Facebook, or Meta AI, and Hugging Face.
Yeah.
And what we've been working on is the Meta AI team had come up with this set of questions or tasks for agents to do that are trivial for humans to do, but actually very complex for AIs to achieve. And Hugging Face has been working to create an agent leaderboard, and we have been benchmarking our system against it and running it with various different configurations and settings, like for different models as well as backends, to go and see how it performs. And this has been submitted to ICLR, and I think it's been accepted there now, which is why it's been published on Hugging Face. And we're on Hugging Face as well. And so we're very excited to kind of been a part of that, and we look forward to seeing agents improve against it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very exciting, to be honest. Between this and the previous paper we put out, I noticed something quite interesting, that the previous paper is published to, or as part of the if I said this right, the Neural IPS Solar workshop, which is sponsored by Max Tegmark's Future of Life Institute. And obviously, Meta's Gaia paper has Jan LeCun on as an author, and so it's quite interesting to see the two very, very passionate sides and representatives of the AI safety debate come together on the same thing, which is AutoGPT benchmarking.
That's a really interesting point. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been a great period for us, and it's very exciting to be able to have both papers out there now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the GIF.
Is there links in the chat?
Yeah, there's links to the paper and link to the a tweet
Cool.
that I
Awesome. All right. Next up, we have development. So I think the main development update is that the Docker build is now unbroken, and didn't go the clean way like I hoped it would, because Poetry will have an intention of releasing a new release this year, but nonetheless, it's been fixed. There's a tiny issue with the agent verification CI that runs a basic test against any agent in the repo to check if it supports the agent protocol. I think that will be pretty easy to fix, but still needs to look. In terms of documentation, the documentation has been mostly rewritten. So that's what I've been working on last week. The user documentation, the setup guide, it's all been consolidated. A lot of deduplication, a lot of cleanup, a lot of removing outdated instructions. So I'm fairly confident that it's now a good basis on which we can build further, also to include eventually developer documentation. Because there still is some technical debt in there in the form of the configuration guide, but that's hidden. So the links that link to it are not broken, but you cannot find those pages by clicking to the website, which was the whole idea. Ideally, they could use a look to see if they can be salvaged, but I just didn't have the time for that. So if anyone wants to take a look at those, feel free. It would be appreciated. But if not, that's okay too. And for collaboration, well, as all of you probably have seen, Evo Ninja has won our hackathon, and together with the $15K prize, there was also part of the prize package was also to be included in our repo as the main AutoGPT. And what that means is that, well, Evo Ninja right now is the best generalist agent that we have in our repo. The code base was not merged into our repo. That was kind of would have been logistically unpractical, but you can run it for the CLI of the project. And we also, well, we're still working on updating all of the documentation and the readmes, but it should point to Evo Ninja as the agent to try right now.
Amazing. That's so good. I can't wait to try it out with our front end.
Yeah, it was pretty smart how they ended up doing integrating it into the repo. They're still going to add a README and some documentation for how to run it. That should come, I don't know, any day now.
Could make a tweet about it or something.
Yeah, definitely. I would wait with that until they have made a pull request with documentation for instructions to run Evo Ninja within our repo.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good idea, yeah. Then for visibility,
Maybe,
well, again, Twitter. Sorry?
Just to drive up some more hype and stuff, we can make a video of using the Ninja thing to show it off a little bit, like even just like a 10-second teaser thing with the tweet.
Yeah, I mean, if it has a visual component which is like distinctively different, or something that would make a compelling video, then I'm happy to do that. Scott, if you manage to get it running when the demos, or when the documentation's ready, then feel free. Cool. Okay.
All right, then for visibility, any updates with regards to our social channels?
So Scott is taking on the role as part of his role of running our Twitter, and so he's put out some announcements around that both those papers and also the hackathon and how they're all related to benchmarking. And I think that's all for now. But starting from this week, or from now, we might have a bit more of at least a managed presence on Twitter. For 11,200 followers.
Heck yeah. Scott, is there a method for sharing things with you we think we should interact with yet?
I don't have any sort of method in place right now. For right now, I guess just send me a DM.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Also, do we have plans to also include Reddit in our social activity stream?
Yeah, I mean, there's a very active subreddit for AutoGPT. Or at least
Yeah.
it was at one point. I'm not sure. I think maybe it still is.
I became a moderator of that at some point, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
But yeah, my opinion around like external marketing is that if we have something really like compelling to share, that's new and interesting, then we can put time and effort into it. But if we don't, I would rather focus our love and attention on the people that we already have here, rather than try and just focus solely on growth. There are thousands of people here, and many of them are lurkers and maybe they don't feel like they can know anyone or can break the ice and like join in on the conversation. So I would like to put most of our energy into nurturing the internal community rather than external. My thoughts on the matter.
that's fair. Yeah, I agree. We can always do outreach later when we reach a point where that's within our resource capabilities. But right now, it's probably best to focus on what we already have.
Yeah, and Twitter's a good source way to do that in a little way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then the only update left is facilities. I'm not sure if there's any actual updates there.
I do have an update there. I will be working from Pennsylvania for the next month. So our facilities are closing in Dallas.
Removing offices.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
What
time zone
what
is
time zone is that?
yeah, Eastern US. 1 hour earlier than it currently is, so it'll actually be easier to meet with y'all.
Yeah. Also the offices in Delft have expanded.
I noticed that. They look pretty. Wow, you've got a lot of employees now.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a very active community here in Delft.
Our Delft wing is doing well. Good
Yeah.
to see you.
All right. Let's move on to the discussion points. There's only one on the agenda, which is the future of AutoGPT agent plus Forge. Oh wait, let me actually put an extra point on there for the naming scheme we have there. Because right now the Forge and the AutoGPT agent are very separate. Like they're separate projects. AutoGPT does use a couple of components from Forge, but a lot is custom. And historically that's logical, but it doesn't make sense for a future roadmap perspective. Like we want to dogfood our own Forge logically, and we want the Forge to be useful to build agents. But how do we know if it's useful if we're not using it, right? So Zed and I have been kind of thinking about that on how to fix that basically. And so, to put it very simply, the idea is to port as much unique functionality that is in AutoGPT agent and not in the Forge to the Forge, and then once it's in there, we can import it and use it in AutoGPT agent. And so at some point we'll have less duplicate code or less unique code in the agent, and Forge can be used as a package rather than a template. And then once Forge is a useful set of components that can be used to build like a fully functional agent, it also makes sense to provide a number of templates of different implementations that focus on different aspects of or different capabilities that agents can have, just to give people a starting point and an example of how it can work.
That sounds really great. I love that initiative. Like me personally would love to have a tool like that to be able to rapidly prototype agents and try out new ideas as they come out.
Yeah. If anything to add, Zed?
I think you summed it up pretty well. I think that we also need to figure out, like we talked about the gap analysis that we need to do between what we think are features that would be in everyday kind of bot versus what is hyper specific to AutoGPT, and kind of prioritize that list, and also bear in mind, like you were saying before, what the end goal at the end of the day is for AutoGPT, which is AGI. So as long as it's going towards that goal of that, and just having that clear roadmap, and then managing, how do we manage that whole thing going? Like, this is a new initiative, so we gotta, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, you summed it up pretty well, man.
Okay.
Let's just say, I think it's a really good idea. I think there's a lot that I'd want to change about the Forge, so maybe I should give you both a little bit of what I think's wrong with the Forge. A quick summary is, I think maybe there's a little bit of overcomplication in places, and I think also one of the things I had this idea of what the SDK folder that should just have maybe renamed as Agent Protocol Client or whatever, something like that. It should just be around Agent Protocol and take everything else about Agent Protocol and just have that stuff connected in one place and everything else not there. But it doesn't make sense to me having like the abilities nested in SDK when you actually have to modify that folder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, it sounds like a conversation between you, Craig, and whoever's going to be working on this, like Zed and Puts, would be very valuable as you made the Forge. I think you'd have some great insights to share there.
Yeah, I'm happy to help out as well, because there's a lot I want to do with it, but obviously no time.
Yeah.
I'd love to chew your ear off if you have the time, Safli.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that, Zed.
Sorry, it's an American expression. I'd love to talk to you about the Forge 101 or Puts, whatever.
Yeah, happy to.
Yeah. Zed's
Zed, do you
also
have
working on. Oh.
Sorry.
Zed,
Real quick, Zed, do you have an AutoGPT email?
I do not know.
Okay, reach out to Bentley. Is that the right person now?
No,
We'll figure that out later.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Sounds good. Thanks.
all right. Yeah. So initially, I will start working with Zed on like a roadmap and a to-do list to get this Forge AutoGPT thing figured out. And then we'll see if we can hand it off or how we're going to do that. But the first thing we need is a plan, and you'll hear more about that in the next meeting, I guess.
Yeah.
Then the next discussion point on the agenda, let me know if I'm going too fast, is AutoGPT versus agents. Because like from a nomenclature point of view, for us, it can make sense to call them AutoGPTs because they are iterative generative agents that are supposed to be able to do anything. Point is, it's confusing for people who enter the project. Like pretty much everyone who I try to explain the directory structure to is like, oh, it's AutoGPTs / AutoGPT / AutoGPT. It's just a bit much.
Yeah, agreed.
Plus, it's
Okay.
not common nomenclature. People don't
Mhm.
know what you're talking about if you use the term AutoGPTs plural.
Okay, so the reason this came about is because the word agents is very, very commonly used incorrectly currently. It's like becoming a sort of common term. I'm not sure what the word is, but the definition and the way what people think it means is very, very different. And so
Linguistic expansion is the term you're looking for.
yeah, right. Okay, exactly. Thank you. And so what I was kind of hoping that AutoGPTs could be a word that we use is to describe something that's a fully autonomous agent within its system. So maybe we just call them autonomous agents, but it doesn't really roll off the tongue. I don't know if anyone has any better ideas from that, but very open to them. Assistants, yeah, that's not a bad idea, Scott. But does it convey the right thing still? It's like, it's tricky. But okay, open discussion. AGPTs, yeah, not a bad idea. Auto agents. Auto agents is not bad. That does convey autonomous agents.
If we can get rid of the GPT in the name, that's also a bonus. Because yes, it's very recognizable, but I'm not so sure that GPT is going to be the principal LLM to build on forever.
Agreed. I'm totally with you there.
So we're gonna be working potentially, directionally with non-GPT based models. That's the idea.
So yeah, the current idea is that we are just using the current best model available. In the future, we may also provide support for not the best models, but models that people want to use for different reasons, such as the fact they can be run locally and they're more private. But essentially, people want the best. We obviously want to make the best thing we can, and that involves using the best model. So if Google, for example, come out with, is it Gemini? It's called. Supposedly supposed to come out at the end of this year, getting pretty close, maybe early next year. That's supposed to be better than GPT-4. If that proves to be true, then we'll be definitely looking into using that. And I expect more and more models are going to come out, which will be very useful, and not just generalist ones, but also more specialist ones. We have various companies right now spending hundreds of millions of dollars training agent-specific models. So we may find that a generalist OpenAI based GPT model is not the most useful in the future.
We want to get away from any kind of technology label, so to speak.
Yeah, large language models potentially a safe bet, but who knows?
Yeah, one of our goals with the project is to battle vendor lock-in.
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually companies are going to come out with their own agents if they aren't already. And we're trying to provide the open source alternative. So it would be kind of stupid if then we let ourselves be locked in. Right?
Yeah.
I like those idea. I love that idea.
Which one was that?
Like NPM. Just put some initials out there and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah. So what we've got so far is AGPTs, auto agents, entities, friends, self-directed mechanisms, friends, autos. I'm liking all of these contributions, guys.
You know what? Why don't we put it on Twitter, like a poll or a idea list? You just tell us your ideas for a rename or something like that, and see what the community sends out.
Yeah,
we probably want to include agent on that poll
and make a competition even.
Yeah, I'd like to keep it within the Discord, to be honest. I feel like Twitter does not really isn't the right place. They don't really have a say in what we do here, and everyone's here, so Operative.
For Discord, of course.
Since this is great. Comrade. Okay, so I think in conclusion, we have absolutely no idea, and there's a lot of different options.
Yeah.
My favorite so far, it doesn't really roll off the tongue, but my favorite so far, like, is the most descriptive, is auto agent. Auto AIs.
I hear that. I like that.
Bobs.
Or auto AI.
AIs.
So we might need to move on from this item.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Thank you all for your. If anyone has ideas for better namings, do share. Maybe we can make a thread for this.
Make it
And
what?
a thread.
Yeah, I agreed. Yeah,
Yeah.
send something up, Bentley, so everyone can, and maybe copy and paste all of
And
these. Keystar.
does it make sense to turn this into a naming competition? Like I don't know. We'll think about it.
Yeah, let's take it offline and see how it goes. If there's
Yeah.
loads of really good names, then maybe we could do a vote, but I
Yeah.
don't want to vote for like Boji McBoatface.
Sure. it would win.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Team inventory. Well, maybe you noticed, but we have a new catalyst on the block, and it is Zed.
This is accurate. They're above me on the
Thank
screen.
you.
Yeah, dude, welcome. It's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
Do you want to
Thank
intro
you.
yourself real
You're
quick?
welcome.
Sure, happy to. Thanks for having me. Firstly, I feel honored. I was laid off like about a month ago or so, just over a month ago. So I've been trying to keep myself busy, and I've always known about AutoGPT ever since you guys made it. But just by like watching videos. What?
No, I'm just saying, wow, it's always amazing to hear people say that. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. Like I just linked actually the other day a video to somebody in Discord to the first video that I saw that actually like blew my freaking mind about AutoGPT. It was him creating Agent 007 and Agent something something and having them go off against each other. And ever since that has kind of really, honestly, I would say what sparked my interest in this revamp of AI that we're living in, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, but I never actually played with it until I got laid off, and so my lifelong dream is to build a real life Jarvis. So I figured where better to start than AutoGPT, and so that's how I got to AutoGPT. So
Amazing. I share that dream of yours. It's a very noble one. Okay, yeah, welcome. Great to have you here.
Yeah, and I mean, so far your experience in open source projects has been insightful and useful. You know, we had great conversations yesterday, so I'm really happy to have you too.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I've been working in open source for like over a decade. I worked for a long time on an open source company that it worked out in the open and has enterprise customers. So the whole open source business model and stuff like that. And so yeah, I love open source. Forgot to mention that.
And open source loves you.
Absolutely.
All right, we have reached the last 2 points on the agenda. First, the planned time for unplanned questions and discussions. If anyone has any, speak up now.
Actually, yes, I do. Right, just give me 1 second. Okay, I don't know if you guys saw, there was an open source project that came out yesterday, I think. I could be wrong, but at least it was announced on Twitter yesterday, called Self-Operating Computer. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is something I've been predicting is going to happen for so long, and I'm so excited. And it's MIT licensed, and it's 600 lines of code in one file. It's like the best thing ever. And this is basically the idea that everyone says that large language models are the universal interface, right? So that's like language, written English, the universal interface. But I actually think for agents, that's not the case. I think the universal interface is pixels, because we don't use language to understand and control our computers. Like, sure, there's text on the screen, but it's all pixels, and a lot of it isn't text. And so if you want to allow an agent to control a computer, my theory is, could be wrong, but my theory is one way to do that and allow it to be able to do anything is to feed it the pixel data and allow it to take action based on that. And so the problem with this has always been we don't have a good vision model, but now we have GPT-4 vision. And then the problem was GPT-4 vision can't accurately identify where on a screen, like pixel coordinates, an item is to be able to click on it. And this self-operating computer repo has kind of solved that problem. It's taken big steps in the way for something very, very simple, to be honest, in retrospect. All they've done is overlaid a grid over, so they've taken a screenshot of the screen, overlaid a grid over it, and with labels of how far, what the X and Y percentages are across the screen, and basically given the agent the ability to click on a percentage. It's not perfect. I've been playing with it for the last 24 hours, and it's still inaccurate, but it does work, and there are some compelling demos. So, and it's really got my mind worrying. I think this can be improved, and it will be improved by the open source community rapidly. This could be a major inflection point for agents. So I'm very excited about it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Not to make this agenda item drag on too long, but this is what we're kind of looking into, is that GPT-4 Vision splits up the image into 512 by 512 squares and feeds that to the model, which obviously is very unintuitive. The link to the project media is in this thread if you scroll up. Someone's linked it. Also, check on Twitter for demos. Anyway, I'll end that there. But this is what I'm very excited about. Maybe next week we'll have some updates, because I'm gonna try and spend some time tinkering with it.
Right. Cool. Then to almost close off the meeting, we can also take questions from the stage if anyone has questions about the project, about us, about whatever. Feel free to ask. Also, I have to go in a couple of minutes, so try to wrap it up. If anyone has questions throughout the week, just post in general or in the dev channel or any appropriate channel, and we'll probably see it. And if not, one of us.
Yeah, ping. There are various groups you can ping. Various roles.
Yeah.
And also Scott. Scott is here now. Scott is ready. So, yeah. If you need Scott, he's there.
Before we go, do we want to maybe set up a time puts for you, me, and maybe Swiftly to meet, just so that we can know when we're gonna talk?
Yeah, if you send me a DM, then we'll place in the agenda.
Okay.
Cool. Swiftly and I are on the same time zone, so should.
Wait, really?
Oh,
You're pretty
Netherlands,
never
Spain.
Yeah,
me.
I'm Spanish.
Very far apart, but.
Spanish, he said in the most British accent ever.
Exactly.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
thank you everybody for coming. This has been wonderful.
Bye.
Lots of love.